Assalamu alaikum, viewers. How are you? And today I am doing my first session in English language. I hope I don't do much mistakes because I have an educationist in front of me, and who is not only a native English speaker but also a teacher as well. So I am much afraid that what I'll do in few moments, but I'll try to be
Relax.
good.
I'm not.
I'll try to be good. Okay.
Relax.
Now,
You are perfect the way you
oh,
are. Don't
thank you.
be, don't even say those words
Okay,
because it
okay, Carla.
will destroy what you're doing. Just do it.
Okay. She's so kind. Okay, so first of all, I just wanted to ask you how you are doing today. How was your fast? How was your all the activities? If you're helping somebody around in the way you are trying to help, or if you want help, so was it done successfully, or are you stuck somewhere? You can always use the live comment section for the help you want. Okay. And if you have a comment or a question regarding today's session, you can also use the live comment section of this session. Okay. After this session, the live comment section will not be active, and then there will be another section which is always there below the video. There is a comment section. You can post your questions, your comments anytime you want, today, tomorrow, or any time of the year, because this video will be on the channel forever, inshallah. So today we have invited our guest who is doing marvelous job in promoting the concept of second language, especially in serving the language English. So I'll not waste much time. I'll just ask Carla to introduce herself, what she's doing and how she's doing and why she's doing that. So Carla, over to you.
You gave me more than one question at once. I usually don't do well with that at all.
Yes, because I will not interrupt you now.
I
Okay.
am Carla Richmond. I Why am I doing this? I sometimes wonder. Today I'm wondering. I do it, you know, I've been working with Rayhan for almost 3 years now. It started as a surprise. I never expected to be work teach quote teaching English. I feel like what I really do is I promote confidence building. Most of the people who come to my show are people who can speak English, but they're afraid to speak to an American or to a native speaker. So they hide this and they don't speak at all. And what happens is they're not growing. I got into this, and I don't know if you want to hear the whole story, but
Yes, I want to. I want to. We'd love to
oh,
hear.
you do? Okay.
Yes, we do.
It's kind of funny. Um, Rayhan and I, it took a few months for me to want to talk to him, and I finally decided I would. And I was kind of playing around with the idea. And on my birthday, Rayhan sent me a video birthday greeting, which shocked me because I didn't know the man. Why would someone I don't know from another country do this? Well, he must be very thoughtful. Good, I'll talk to him. And that's how Rayhan and I, that day, Rayhan and I became friends, really became friends. Anyway, so he said, Carla, I can help you grow your audience. And I said, oh, really? How? He said, well, I think you should go out and teach people English. And I said, well, yeah, I'm an educator. I taught special ed for 20 years, but I've never spoken English. I've never taught English. And he said, you speak it, don't you? And I said, yeah, I've been speaking it all my life. And he said, that's all I want you to do. Speak it. Speak it. And I said, okay. And the next thing, I was just looking for the tag. The next thing I know, I'm going on the live and I am speaking to one of his employees in English. And I'm like, how do I do it? He only speaks Urdu, really, and I'm speaking English. Can this really be done? And not only could it really be done, we had tons of viewers watching. And I began to really like doing it. Came to the end of 2 weeks, and the lives was no longer allowing me to have my um, I needed to pay money to stay on the live, and I said, I don't have the money to do that. And what are we going to do? And we really didn't know. And he said, oh, just do it on Facebook Live. Well, we all know Facebook Live can be a little crazy. Um, so I said, I tried it once or twice and I really got frustrated. And I said, Rayhan, this is not working. And I have Zoom. Maybe I should just use Zoom. And he said, I remember we kind of talked about it and not sure how it would work. And Maricon, at that point, when I decided to use Zoom, she and I went to Code Zoom. We took a lesson on how to create a webinar. I really needed someone to be there with me for it because I had no idea what I was doing. And we started the show on Zoom on July 22nd, 2017. And we had all these people coming in and talking in English. And I said, Rayhan, it worked. And he said, yeah, I see it did work. And the show got started on Zoom, and the rest is history.
That's beautiful, and which you never thought it's actually happened in your life, which you were
No,
not planning even.
no plans to do
No
this.
plans.
It wasn't even a thought in my life that I would do that. It wasn't a thought in my life that I would be speaking to Muslims. My knowledge of Muslims was very, very limited. It was basically from the media because I didn't know anyone at the time. And I thought, oh, you're all terrorists,
Yes.
which was horrible. I'm really embarrassed. I thought that. And no, you're not all terrorists. You're all very, very good people. And I'm very lucky to be associated with you. The big joke we had in the beginning of the show when we were on Zoom was, and I used to joke about it, the White House is 25 minutes from my house. They may come and knock on my door. And it was, and I'll be carried
Carla,
away.
what are you doing sitting here and talking to people? Okay, yes, I understand. Acha, coming to the topic, I would like to ask you a very basic question, that what is basically a second language, for just for our viewers understanding, what is a second language? I have shared a small definition here as well in the scroller, but I want you to give a very easy version of that.
I'm not really trained in that. What I found that second language is you speak Urdu and
Yes.
probably four or five other languages. But the second language, learning another language and learning it like I'm doing it, can be a little scary. You guys have learned to write and read in your language. And somehow in the schools, and I don't quite understand it, you guys write write and read English, but you haven't spoken it. In as long as in the time that I was growing up with English and another language that I was learning, we always learned to speak first and then read and then write.
Region,
You
yes.
guys kind of did it backwards.
Yes.
You learned to write, probably even write before you can read.
Because that's how our curriculum works.
Right.
They expect us to write an essay, write an application, or write a whole poem in different languages, not only English, Sindhi, Punjabi, other languages in different provinces of Pakistan. But when it comes to speaking, it's only a personal interest or a dire need to get a good job. Then you are like pushed to speak in English, because a good person, like a person who is good in English, has more chances of a good job here in our society.
Well, think back when you were learning to speak whatever language is your first language. Did you read or write first, or
No,
did you speak first?
not at all. Not at all. We used to speak.
Right. And that's the same with learning a second language. You first learn to speak, then you learn to read, and then you learn to write. And when you do it backwards, it kind of gets a little confusing. I I still get a lot of messages from people from Pakistan and now around the world, not just Pakistan. And they say they're beautifully written. I can read every word, I can understand every word. And then they come to talk to me and they're like, I can't talk. Well, I look at them and I say, yes, you can. Because if you can read and write, that's more difficult than speaking. But
Yes,
people are afraid. They're afraid of making mistakes.
mistakes. Yes.
They're afraid of saying the words. It's a tragedy in my mind because once if you can read and write, you can speak literally.
Actually, when we read or write, reading is just a reading, but when we write, we have a plenty of time to choose the words we want to. Sometimes we have time to choose vocabulary from dictionaries as well. But when we are speaking, we just have to choose whatever vocabulary we have up here, and it could go wrong. But what I didn't mean, but I just said, and it offended the other person, and I didn't mean it even. So that's how this thread or this fear comes, and then people think, okay, I have done. Or sometimes it's so funny that people laugh at your face that, okay, I have done so much, like done a very big mistake, and thus I'm in a bad place, that people are making fun of me, so I should refrain from talking this language because I'm not a perfect person in this. So that's how speaking is, discouraged, because the human behavior which you are talking to, like you are, I have seen you, you are very much encouraging. You, even if somebody is speaking wrong or using wrong words, because you have patience for that. Okay, this person is trying. Okay, let Hamna speak and let complete the whole sentence. Maybe it goes wrong. Like let her speak. But normally, what happens is that people make fun of, or they just correct you on that same spot. Then you lose your confidence.
Right. And that's why I don't do that. People have said, written to me in messages, will you correct me right away? And I always say no. Will you rate my English? And I say, absolutely not. And they're like, why? Because if I rate it, first of all, that's my thinking. You need to feel confident. So who cares if I agree if you have good or bad English? You need to believe in yourself. And if you are questioning your English, then you need more practice, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. And people need to understand that. You can do it. You can read. You can write. But you need to give yourself that time to integrate everything. I
Okay.
have
So
someone
since oh sure
go
sure
on,
sure carry on. Please.
go on.
It's okay. Acha, when you are doing this thing since you are saying 2017, it's been 3 years. So have
Almost. Yeah.
okay. So have you ever considered that learning a second language is important or very important or most important? What category do you think that this language, any language, like if you are an English native speaker, you should learn French or Urdu or Arabic? And if I am an Urdu speaker, so should I learn English or Arabic or French? Is it important?
That's a really good question, and it is something that we need to think about. I've been doing this long enough to know that the global language of the world is now English.
Yes.
You need to speak English. The people who, right now in the world, you and I wouldn't be speaking if it wasn't for the internet. Who knows how long we're going to be locked down?
Yes.
And even when we stop being locked down, people are starting their own internet companies. The one language that is global right now, and I'm not saying that it's good that it's this way, but the one language is English. And the one way that we can talk to each other from all different parts of the world is by speaking in English. I happen to grow up speaking English, so I speak it.
Yes.
You grew up speaking Urdu. I'm assuming it's Urdu. It could be
Yes.
another language.
It is good.
And but Urdu isn't known, but isn't taught throughout the world. So if you want to work globally from Pakistan or and your city, you need to be able to communicate with people around the world. You can't call someone in California speak Urdu and have them necessarily understand you. And that's really what all this is about, is being able to speak and communicate.
Yes.
And that's why it's important. Is it important for me to speak Hebrew or French or any of the other sub languages? No,
And
because
most of the content, the researches, even most of the websites, if you want to read something, if you want to learn something, it's mostly in English language.
right.
Most of the
So
content on the internet, even.
I mean that's very sad. Google Translate. I had a funny story with it. I discovered Google Translator and I thought, oh, I can speak to this person in Spanish. And I was all excited and I wrote this sentence and I got it in Spanish and I took it to her and she said, what in the world are you saying? It's right there and it's perfectly said. What in the world are you trying to tell me? And I went back and I did another Google, translator. And it must have gotten worse because she said, oh my God, what are you
These
telling me? And I'm like, I
these
mean,
auto
it's
translators
great.
are the nightmares. It happens on the Facebook as well. If you translate someone's status from another language, it translates to a different, totally different thing.
I
It could be funny, it could be abusive as well sometimes because it translates as per words. So you don't know what's going forward.
and I can't say to the person that's not what
Yes,
I meant because I have no idea what it says.
exactly.
So, and it was so funny because at that time, I was working and I had some money and I had someone helping me clean the house.
Okay.
She, after she read that, she quit the job. And I was like, I didn't say anything wrong.
Ah, yes,
I have
and this
no
happens.
idea what I
Same
said.
happens when people are trying to connect with Carla or any other person from USA or Canada. Same fear is with like Pakistanis or Indians mostly. India even has a better language level because they are teaching English on a better level, and they are using it also because they have many languages, so they are using English as a second language in their own country. But in our country, English is not that important in the teaching scenario, so mostly people are not very much conversant or very much comfortable with this language, and since we don't use it, we are not fluent in this. So once we talk or we try to explain what's going in our head, so we make such blunders. We even fail to put our ideas forward to a person. Maybe it's a very good idea, but the way we choose the words or the sentences or the even choice of commas and colons are, or if wrong, the sentence become totally different, because a comma can tell you that okay, this is another part of the story and then there is another thing going to start after the comma. But when we put commas in wrong place, it's just changed the whole meaning of that. So people are afraid when they talk. Sometimes they just want to be, they want to connect with a lady, or they want information, or they want to learn something, but then it's taken in a wrong way because the language is a barrier. It's a very big barrier. Acha, what you are doing in your institution, you are teaching, and you have been connected to several Pakistanis and Indians and every other person, especially Pakistanis. How was your experience? Are they really interested in learning? Are they improving? Do you have any good
They
students?
are. Yeah, they are. I mean, there are some who are scared. I think there are some who come and they just want to say hi to me and they're not going to take it very seriously. But then there are those who take it very seriously and they want to learn and they want to do well and they're going to work hard at it. And then there are those who take it seriously and very weirdly, I want to be careful how I say this. I have someone who I love working with right now, and he needs a little more help. He's doing very, very well. But because he has seen such improvement, it's like, oh, I can go out and do whatever I want. And it scares me because I know that his English comprehension is not necessarily up to where his English writing is. But, that's how you learn. You learn by making mistakes.
Yes.
So there's
So,
nothing.
are you only working on the speaking skills, or you are also like doing or planning to do any sessions on the reading and writing segments as well for the English?
I've thought about it, but I want to use my strengths. Um, if there were people who were actually in DC working with me and I could do some reading and writing stuff, but to do it online, it's really difficult and it's a challenge.
Maybe they can write and send you a capture or photo of that write up, 5 lines, 10 lines.
I'm not encouraging it at this point because that's a lot of work. And with the interviews and everything else I'm doing, I'm like, where do I find the time to do it? And
Okay, so you are doing this conversation thing. So are you having any levels of conversation that okay, now you are up to this, now you are moving to that group, or just a random thing?
It's random right now, but when someone is really doing well, I kind of pull them in to do some other work and
And
have
if somebody is up to your mark and you think, okay, now she or he is ready for write up as well and speaking very good, so do you give any kind of certificate from that platform?
I'm going to start doing that. I haven't had a chance to do it yet. Uh, I'm definitely considering it in the future. But right now, just getting out what I need to do, that in itself is an enormous task.
It's a very, very, it's not only an enormous job, but it is having a very good impact, not only or on your dreams that you were like thinking of or you and Rehan had, but on the people who are having a platform where they can talk even stupid things and they are not being judged. That's the beauty of that thing. Even if they are doing bad or good in their language thing, it's okay because Carla is welcoming and encouraging. That's the beautiful thing. And it's I think people should take advantage of this opportunity as much as they can.
You
So
mind if I take a sip of water?
sure, 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 sure.
Thank you. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy talking to people. I
Please take some
really,
more. Please take some more.
no, I'm fine for
Okay.
now. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy learning about them. Um, it's fun. I told Rayhan said, you don't even take time off except when I'm around, and then you'll take time off, which is true. But it's because I really enjoy it. You know, I I get up and I want to do it. I do take 2 days off now, and I really need it when I take it. But basically, I'm there all the time.
Yeah, and you're doing a wonderful job. And it's I've been seeing you. That's your like the wonderful thing in which you are doing is what I see is consistency. That even I am a person that sometimes I feel like okay, I can have a break for a month or so. I can then start the thing again. I'll see if I want to do it or not. But consistency, I've seen in you. You are doing it. Tremendous job. Tremendous job. Acha, just taking advantage of your educational background and that you told me that you are an educationist and a teacher. So I want to know that can you please list down 5 to 10 tips for our viewers if they want to learn second language? What 5 or 10 things are very very important they should that they should consider and they should like keep in mind all the time and should not forget.
You're going to make mistakes. So what? Stop worrying about what other people think and just do it. You know, that's part of learning. And we're all learners. I make mistakes speaking English. I'm not perfect. No one is perfect. And as long as you accept the fact that you can't do anything perfectly, that's fine. We're all different. Another point, we are all different. And I don't know anyone who speaks English exactly as I do. You don't know, I'm sure you don't know anyone who speaks Urdu exactly as you do. We all have our slang, we all have our easy words that we kind of convert to mean something. Use them. Don't worry about what other people think. You do what you need to do for yourself. And the more you do it for yourself, the better it's going to become. Sorry, I know that's only 2 tips, but they're I think they're the most important tips.
And when you said use easy words, I have often heard from teachers and from the trainers on YouTube and everywhere, when we want to learn English, we want to, like, we just, what now, right now, like these days, we do is just Google a good channel for that topic which we are looking for. So when we come to English or any language, especially in English, people do suggest that, okay, use good vocabulary, choose good words, but you are saying use easy words. If you use easy words, it's good. So what's
Right.
that?
Why I say easy words that are good for you. Um, there may be people who have a positive outlook on life. Optimist would be a word you would use for that, but they may not be ready and they may just say, hey, I'm feeling good about my life, or I'm feeling hopeful that things will turn out. That's fine.
Fine.
Use what you can draw for yourself. Don't worry about if someone says, oh, you're speaking dumbly, or oh, it doesn't,
Vocab is so basic.
yeah, just be yourself. That's what people want. They want you to be you and no one else.
Because when we talk in Urdu, even in our society, with our people, in our families, we don't use difficult words or very, because in Urdu, there are, in original Urdu, there are very difficult words. And if we start using those words, even my mother won't understand what I am talking, since it's our own language, but the vocabulary is so hard, and we haven't used it in years. We don't even use it when we are writing, because unless we are giving an Urdu paper or something, or we are doing a very deep kind of thing like poetry or something, then we use difficult words and difficult vocabulary in even in our language. But in English, when we start talking in another language, we try to use difficult words, or words which are, we say that these are, cool words. Nobody uses it. It's very difficult to remember. Oh, she or he has a very good kind of, or very big vocabulary, and when he or she talks, he or she uses very difficult and very new words. But I feel sometimes it's a little bit more of a show off kind of thing than to be on the understanding or connection level.
And I agree with you. I mean, some people use words. Let me give you an example, and I hope this person will know who it is. I was working with some of Rayhan's employees, and he said, I want to tell you the topic, and we'll talk on topics." And I didn't even think about it. I said, "Okay, let's try it," because he was shy, but he would have never, ever, ever admitted to it. And so we had this wonderful conversation with him where he was telling me how he helped someone and how he wants to help others. And it didn't occur to me during the conversation that he had planned everything he was going to say.
Oh,
Next day, I'm talking to a friend who was thinking of using one of the services that they offer. She asked him some questions and he couldn't answer. And I thought, that's weird because he answered. That's when I figured out what happened. I said to her, his English was perfect. We had a wonderful conversation. And she said, but he doesn't get it. And that was a very true, for this person, that was an extremely true statement about him. And I thought, well, how do I deal with it? And meanwhile, I found out because circumstances were showing me that he didn't really get what I was telling him. And I thought, why in the world? How do I get through to him? And we had to communicate, and we were communicating using text messages, and that made it even worse because he didn't really get what I was saying, and I didn't get what he was saying. So I finally said, let's have a conversation in English. And we had it, and again, we didn't quite get it. And what I had learned from this experience, although he could speak very well when he is planned, when it comes to a natural conversation, he couldn't do it. He needed that help. And it's important when I tried to explain it to him, he said, no, I learned English from the Oxford School of English or someplace like that. And my English is perfect. Yours isn't. And I thought, no, it's not about perfection.
Mm.
But they don't necessarily get what it's about and what's actually happening. Does that make sense? Does that answer
Yes.
your question?
Bilkul, bilkul. It is making so much sense, and that's what I am bringing up those very basic kind of questions for our viewers, especially that they, whenever they listen to this conversation today or tomorrow, and even after 1 year, they should understand that language is not about difficult words or a style or something. It's about originality. It's about yourself. When you are comfortable, even if you don't have a perfect accent, or if you don't have a perfect vocabulary selection, it's okay as far as you are making the point clear and you are connecting with the other person. That is for language for, basically, to connect and communicate, not to impress. But what we, especially our world, this part of the world, thinks that language is to impress. So they use those words which even they don't know, even they themselves, they are not they don't have command over. So they use those words and then they are stuck. And when the native of that language, if it's Persian or Arabic or English or whatever, then they can figure out easily, and then it makes problem. It's not about learning or speaking to Carla or any friend on Facebook. It's about, basically, about education. If you are studying or having a long distance degree, or if you're having a business, an online order, if you are an entrepreneur giving services, designing a logo for somebody sitting in Canada, or anything. So they, when they have to communicate, they try to impress with their English, which is completely unnecessary.
I had a I had one of my students who doesn't come as regularly now because he's busy in graphic arts. But one of my students was an upper teenage kid who has really great talent, but his understanding of English was poor. And he didn't, there was no way that I could get through to him that he needed more practice. And until he was and I wanted to say to him, until you have the practice and you understand what English is going to do for you, you can't even judge whether it's a simple, cheaper thing or if it's what it's supposed to be. That comes in time. Um, but don't expect because you have the language skills or you can at least speak that you have the comprehension. I today there was someone on the show who, yeah, he was from Islamabad. Great guy, It turns out he was a constable. When I think of a constable, I think of a police officer on the street.
Yeah.
And that wasn't what he was. He actually was more or less with the Secret Service in
Okay. Okay.
Pakistan.
Okay.
But it took someone else to be able to explain that to him or to have that conversation so we could understand. I could understand what he actually does. That happens often.
And he is more like he's in the position which is more important than the regular constable. He should be at least have a basic knowledge of another language, because that service requires you to be extra smart in different languages, because you need to do different things. And yes, I can feel that he could lose so many things, and he could misunderstand so many things if he doesn't even understand the language, which is so commonly used. And you know, um, it was great, and so much of the questions were answered, and almost all of the things which I was thinking that I'll ask you in the session are being covered, alhamdulillah. Just one question, last question from my side, that when you are doing these sessions, sometimes people become your fan, that, oh, Carla is so good, Carla is so loving, so encouraging. Then how you, because you are now a star, so dealing with so many people that you almost forgot me. So how you keep a track of people or their progress, or if they are troublemaker, so how you deal with them?
Troublemakers, I remember.
Okay.
When I see their faces, I remember. In fact, the guy knows it was already discussed once on twice online.
Mhm,
Um, I had someone come to the show yesterday,
mhm,
and I'm trying to be really nice and not really hard on him, but it came to a point that I really had to come down on him, and I had to say, look, you stop or I remove you and I'll ban you from the show altogether. You
mhm,
need to slow down. You need to let go of your anxiety, just everything. It was, well, he was bouncing off of me. Last night, I was in a live with Rayhan, and he came in, and Rayhan wrote, I thought it was Rayhan. It could have been him. But I saw the message, and I'm like, Rayhan, do what you want. If you want to bring him, bring him. If you don't, don't. I don't care. And he came into the show, and the guy said, Rayhan, do you see a difference in me? And I saw it immediately because he had settled down. He said, what are you talking about? I said, look, he's not bouncing off the walls. And, he didn't get it. It took about 15 minutes for him to get the fact that he needed to be patient. He needed to settle down. And that I wasn't going to talk to him while he was all over the place. But he got it, he settled down, and he did a lot better.
And what about those who inbox you and they tell you, to, okay, teach English right now to me because I am free right now. Talk to me right
I
now.
don't do it.
Hmm.
I won't do it for
But you
anyone.
get such a request because you're
Oh,
doing free thing for them.
yeah. I mean, there's a point where I can't be free. And to be honest with you, that's after the show. The show is completely free. But
Yes.
after the show, I mean, I need to support myself. Somehow I have been able to do it. I have no idea how I've been able to do it, but I have. Um,
So, if someone wants to see a mentor in Carla, can he or she expect that for a language, that for a mentorship, or if they want to, they need to enroll for a certain paid
They need
session only.
after the show. They need to. I mean,
Okay.
I feel bad about it, but it needs to be that way.
Okay. Okay,
I have
that's fair
no
enough.
choice.
That's fair enough. Okay. Thank you, Carla, for being with us. It was a wonderful, wonderful time with you. But I want you to just sum up all your discussion in just two sentence, two or three sentence, and one tip, which you think that it's the most important thing that viewers should take away with them.
I think the most important thing that you need to learn is that you need to be willing to make mistakes. You need to be willing to accept yourself as you are and love yourself for who you are.
Hmm.
And the more you do that, the more successful you'll become.
Be
That's
yourself
my
and
biggest
accept yourself.
advice. Um,
Yes.
that was number one. What was number two? I'm sorry.
That we all make mistakes, you said, and use easy words.
No, number two of what you wanted me to tell them. We all, right. You just,
Okay, I just said, कि, okay, whatever we have discussed today, just wrap up in two sentence, a
what
summary
I
of.
said, be willing to make mistakes. Be
Mhm.
willing to be yourself. You're the only one who knows yourself. You're the only one who can make those decisions of what you want to say.
Okay, and the last thing which I was expecting, that a tip for everyone to take away from this platform, any one thing that you think it's very important and they should practice it when they are thinking about second language.
Don't expect to be perfect. Just be
Hmm?
yourself.
Don't expect to be
Because
perfect.
you are perfect as yourself. And there's no such thing as perfection. Don't be hard on yourself. Just be gentle.
And you said that second language is very important, and for pacing up or to catching up the speed of this whole thing which is going around us, we should learn second language, especially English, because most of the content is there. Most of the stuff, most of the jobs, the conversations going on, the discussions going on. If you want an online job, if you're stuck at home and you are doing some home based work, you need to have this language handy, at least that much, which you in which you can just convey your message, convey your point of view to other person or to other party. If you are doing an agreement or a contract or a business deal, or even you're just selling your services on Fiverr or Upwork, you need to know basic uh, language things,
Right.
especially in English. Thank you so much, Carla. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us your time. And I know that you are tired and you have recently done your session, and then you've courteously accepted my invitation on this 15 minutes break. Thank you so much for being with us. And I would like to have you again, inshallah, with another topic in which we can talk about maybe about something, because you are perfect in interviewing, and we would want to learn about teaching, like the techniques of interviews, and if people want to do it or if they are doing it, so correcting them or teaching them with those things. If you
Let's do that. When do you
inshallah,
want to do it? Let's
inshallah,
talk
inshallah.
about it when you after you go off the line.
श्योर श्योर, थैंक यू सो मच। आप सब लोग भी अपना बहुत बहुत ख्याल रखिएगा, अच्छा दिन गुजारिएगा, कल का दिन भी बहुत अच्छे से गुजारिएगा, और कार्ला की बातों पे गौर ज़रूर कीजिएगा कि जो लैंग्वेज है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। सेकंड लैंग्वेज ज़रूर सीखें, स्पेशली इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज ज़रूर सीखें, क्योंकि ज़्यादातर जितना भी मवाद मौजूद है इंटरनेट के ऊपर, गूगल के ऊपर, कोई बुक पढ़नी हो, पीडीएफ हो, कोई रिसर्च पढ़नी हो, मिलेगी। तो इंग ने कही कि अपने ऊपर कॉन्फिडेंस रखें, अपने अपनी ज़ात को पहचानें। कोई मसला नहीं है अगर आप छोटी-मोटी मिस्टेक्स भी करते हैं, बड़ी मिस्टेक्स भी करते हैं तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। लेकिन इस इम्पोर्टेंट ये है कि आप बोलते रहें, आप यूज़ करते रहें लैंग्वेज को, तो आप परफेक्ट होंगे। स्पीकिंग पे ज़्यादा ज़ोर दें सिवाय बजाय इसके कि लिखने और पढ़ने पे, तो आपकी कन्वर्सेशन अच्छी होगी। फिर अगर आप कोई बिज़नेस कर रहे हैं घर से बैठ के या किसी भी तरीके से, तो یہ آپ کو مدد کرے گا اور دنیا سے کنیکٹ کرنے میں آپ کو بہت ہیلپ کرے گا. اس پینڈیمک نے ہمیں بہت کچھ سکھایا ہے اور یہ ضرور سکھایا ہے کہ آن لائن کنیکٹیوٹی کتنی امپورٹنٹ ہے اور کتنا کچھ آن لائن کنیکٹیوٹی میں کیا جا سکتا ہے. تو اس کے لیے بیسکلی وہی آ جاتی ہے لینگویج کہ انگلش آپ کی اچھی ہو اور سندھی پنجابی اردو بھی ہماری لینگویجز ہیں لیکن انگلش کو تھوڑی سی امپورٹنس اسپیکنگ کے حوالے سے ذرا زیادہ دیں اور کارلا کا شو ضرور جوائن کریں تاکہ آپ اس کو پریکٹس کر سکیں. وہ کچھ بھی چارج نہیں کر رہی ہیں, اٹس فری آف کاسٹ, بالکل فری ہے. تو آپ وہاں جوائن کریں, پریکٹس کریں, آپ کو بولنے کا موقع ملے گا انشاءاللہ. اینڈ شیل بی ہیلپنگ یو کہ آپ کہاں غلطی کر رہے ہیں کہاں نہیں کر رہے ہیں. آپ کو کوئی ٹوک نہیں رہا, کوئی وہاں آپ کا مذاق نہیں اڑا رہا. nobody is making fun of you, so you should all join. تھینک یو سو مچ فار واچنگ. بہت بہت اپنا خیال رکھیے گا. السلام علیکم.